Happy belated Valentine's Day. It's Heike Yates here. And if you're not celebrating Valentine's Day, that's okay too. I hope you have a most amazing day. But because it's Valentine's week, I want to give you a special gift. And instead of chocolate, roses, and a takeout dinner, I want to give you the gift of Pilates. So hear me out. Since menopause, our joints are often achy, and exercises like running or lifting weight cause us more problems afterwards than it seems worth doing them. I'm sure you can relate to that. So you start walking and you hope that that's enough to stay fit and strong. But you notice that your posture is more bent forward than you like it, and your back starts bothering more often than not. But you heard about Pilates and how it does wonders for the aging, achy body. And it's so easy on the joints. So you said, okay, I want to try it out, but I'm not sure where to start. And the machines you see on social media look very intimidating, and it feels more like a torture chamber than something that's good for your body. And besides, you don't want to buy expensive machines like that, not knowing what to do. Ideally, you want to exercise at home with little to no equipment, and there seems to be a thing called the mat work, whatever that is. So you're curious to see how this works and how this might even be beneficial for you. But where to start? Before we dive into today's episode, I want to inspire you to take a look at my Spark Fitness membership, where I have anything from Pilates, strength training, Pilates on the ball, therapeutic exercises, anything for a beginner to a most advanced fitness level. And I'll leave a link in the show notes for you to check out my Spark membership. So today we're talking about Pilates over 50. How to get started and keep going at home without much equipment and without buying any of those machines. I'm Heike Yates, a fitness and nutrition coach with 30 years of experience. I empower women over 50 to take back their health and strength to lead a vibrant life. Right now, you're joined by thousands of women over 50 around the world who stop dimming their light and instead ignite their spark. On this podcast, I do what I do best, taking complicated information about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies and breaking it down into baby steps that are simple, actionable, and sustainable so you can implement them into your life. I regularly interview some of the most inspiring women who share their honest stories on how they went from their worst to their best life, so that you know you're not alone in your struggles. Join me as we redefine what aging looks and feels like by taking action and saying, yes, I can. This is the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I can't believe that I have been teaching Pilates now for over 20 years. It feels like yesterday. It just proves that I'm getting older, but that's all right. You know, when I took Pilates for the first time, the people that took the class were super excited and everybody seemed to know what Pilates was. And at that time, I was into bodybuilding and fitness training and hardcore cardio training. And Pilates was not even on my horizon. So I went to this class to check it out because I want to be trendy and current. I want to know what's on the fitness market and in the fitness industry. So I went to this class and I felt like we were just lying around on the floor doing stuff. And I was like, this is interesting. Does this do anything? I'm a runner. And that doesn't feel like anything. I didn't know what they were talking about with that navel to spine business and hollow out the abs and all this stuff. I was like, this is weird. And it didn't make any sense to me at all. So I said, okay, great. I found out about Pilates. And left it for years to come. And then again, I came across Pilates at the time where I was teaching yoga. I was working at a fitness club where I oversaw all the aerobic and fitness classes in the club, and I was teaching yoga. As my yoga teacher at that point, and that's a story I haven't shared before, just left me. So she introduced yoga to the club, and I studied next to her because I was intrigued by yoga and I loved what was going on with the flexibility and the strength and the balance. And out of the blue, she quit. So I asked the members of the club to be kind to me and stick with me to help me be better at teaching yoga. I read all my books and I had a plan every time, a lesson plan when I started teaching my yoga classes. And I took over the classes and grew with my students. So I learned and I loved, and I still to the day, I love Pilates. But then Pilates hit the gym. Another teacher had entered my scene at that point, and she was teaching Pilates. And she said, I can teach you Pilates. I was like, oh, great, this lying around stuff. But now I was more open to the idea to learning more about Pilates. And we developed a small little program for our members and started really small. And Pilates really grew on me. It's straightforward. It made sense to me. There were no pretzel poses. There was the powerhouse. I was sold. And I've been teaching Pilates now to anybody and everybody for over 20 years. And when you hear that Pilates is for everybody, I truly believe it is. Because I taught children at the ages of 7 and 8 up to somebody who's 94 years old, Pilates, not exactly what you might see on TV or on social media, but very modified and adaptable Pilates. Pilates to somebody who is disabled with missing limbs. Pilates for somebody who is larger than the normal person. Pilates to somebody who's blind. And that was a very interesting experience. But Pilates is for everybody. So let me tell you, before I get super excited, or more than I am right now, what is Pilates? So Pilates is named after his inventor, Joseph Pilates. It is basically an exercise program for the entire body. Pilates is a system of exercises designed to improve strength, flexibility, posture, as we're aging, breathing, and just overall well-being. You can practice Pilates with special equipment known as the Reformer, the Cadillac, the Wonder Chair are 3 of the more traditionally known pieces of equipment, or in a more simplistic form without equipment or minimal equipment like the magic circle or a ball. And it's called mat Pilates. So either form or either way, whether with the equipment or without, is so amazing and beneficial, in particular for women over 50. And I'll talk about this why in just a moment. And you know what? There are over 500 exercises in the Pilates equipment repertoire. And some of those exercises have traveled into the mat Pilates as well. And in the traditional mat Pilates exercise program are 34 exercises done in sequence. Now, is it too late to start Pilates over 50? You can find the link in the show notes. So what are the health benefits of Pilates for over 50s? And Pilates seems to be often for women. Mostly you see women do Pilates, but oh my goodness, so many men do Pilates, you just don't see him as often. And the benefits of practicing Pilates regularly are amazing. And practicing is a way of mindful movement. I often say when people say, oh, I do Pilates, I say, well, do you do Pilates or do you practice Pilates? Because it ties together the mind and the body. And to me, it's always been very meditative when I really put my mind to the exercise. And doing it regularly is just about consistency. So, increase of flexibility. So your overall flexibility, like your joints, your tendons, your ligaments of your body, are being stretched in a gentle way. And increasing the flexibility, when you think of your knees are hurting, you just want to stretch them out gently so it's easy and without pain. Pilates helps you be efficient with moving in your daily activities. That means if you're a biker or runner, you walk, you lift weights, which are probably, for me, daily activities, but grocery shopping, doing the laundry, getting the dishes out of the dishwasher. Do not laugh. I've heard many of my clients talk about how their back hurt before Pilates when they got the dishes out of the dishwasher. So things like this, gardening is a good example. Gardening is often really hard on your back when we're schlepping all the mulch bags and so forth when we're gardening. Pilates supports your spine and increases bone strength or bone density. The resistance that we provide with the ground and the exercise we're doing has shown in research to improve your bone density, and it strengthens your spine because a lot of the exercises are done lying down with support of the muscles and the surrounding tissue. Pilates definitely helps strengthen your core muscles, which are essential or super important for stability, strength, and balance. So core muscles are also referred to as the powerhouse, the lower belly, upper belly, obliques, and then also the back muscles and your buttski. So all these help you be stable. So just think about standing on one leg, how you may wobble. If you learn how to increase the strength and the stability and balance, you'll be much better off when you're aging and not dealing with unexpected falls or avoiding many of those unexpected falls as we're aging. As I mentioned earlier, Pilates is a fantastic mind-body routine because it focuses on breathing. Every movement has a breath and every breath has a movement. And you breathe deep into your lungs. It is gentle yet challenging. I just love Pilates for that reason, because if one exercise stretches the body, the next one strengthens it. And the breath, now that we're such shallow breathers, for most of us, increasing the way we breathe is not only gives us more energy, it also vibrates the whole body and strengthens our lungs for other activities. So another important fact for us ladies is, and gentlemen too, Pilates develops lean and long muscles without the bulk. As you heard, I was a bodybuilder, and my goal was to build huge, big muscles to show on stage. But my goal now is to keep lean, long, and functional muscles without a bulk. I want to look toned and strong as I age. And finally, Pilates improves your posture. As we're strengthening the core, the glutes, we're lengthening the spine, all Pilates terms, you will improve your posture, which then helps you with the breath. You will breathe better, you will balance better, and you will move overall better. And when I think of the runners I have coached in the past, I always talked about squeezing the buttski or firing the glutes and their posture, as many of them run hunched over. So these are the benefits of Pilates, and they're just undeniable. And they've proven over years to be true to male and females alike. And as always, I have some research to back up the things that I'm talking about. In this case, it is Pilates and what it can do for the body. So research has shown that only three Pilates sessions per week for only 8 weeks, that's only 2 months, can improve muscle strength in the lower body, namely your legs, in addition to your postural stability, meaning your spine, your upright posture. We're talking about the Pilates body. And that on the other hand, muscle weakness and the lack of this postural stability can make symptoms of arthritis, for instance, a lot worse and also contribute to the development of arthritis. So if you've been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, I highly recommend that you look into Pilates and start with what I'm sharing with you about today. There are 6 Pilates principles, and some of them you may have heard before if you dabbled a little bit or were interested in Pilates, and you will hear in the videos that I'm sharing with you as well. So the 6 Pilates principles will become part of your practice as well. There is centering. This is the practice of bringing awareness to the center of your body, the area between your lower ribs and your pubic bone, but also your mind and your body together. So it's not just I'm doing Pilates, but I'm mindful in how I move my body, how I connect the mind and the body as I am doing the exercises. So it's a little bit like yoga, you may think. And then there is concentration. By focusing on each exercise with all your attention, you're connecting the mind and body. And this is, to me, again, a connection of mindful movement. And then there's control. There is no bouncing or impact in the Pilates mat work. Every exercise requires precise movement and focus whenever we do Pilates. And these 3 are also called the 3 C's: centering, concentration, and control in Pilates. But of course, there's more. There's precision. That means you're staying aware and connected to the move throughout each exercise with control and proper alignment and the engagement of your core. So you're very precise. You're doing everything to the best of your ability. Breath. Joseph Pilates emphasized the breathing into your lungs and an inhale and a fully exhale as you're doing the exercises. And there's currently different ways of breathing out there, different approaches, but all have in common that we want you to breathe deeply and create and coordinate the breath and the movement as one. And, as I said it earlier, we have become a society of shallow breathers. And when I ask people to breathe in deeply, they're like, I can barely get any air in. You can practice that with Pilates as you move through the movements. And then finally, there's flow. The exercises or the Pilates exercises are not meant to be rigid, but graceful and performed with ease. I always love saying that. With ease and economy. And when you think of that, Pilates has based his method mainly or worked with dancers. You can imagine that graceful, fluid movement and then connecting the powerhouse through those movements and the extension of the arms and legs. So very graceful. And if you're not graceful or think of yourself as not being graceful, you still can do Pilates. I'm an athlete. I wouldn't consider myself a dancer, although I like to dance salsa and tango, but I'm not a ballet dancer, but I still can benefit, and so can you, from practicing Pilates. And Pilates can feel like what I call moving meditation, when all those principles, the 3 C's, the flow, the breath, the precision comes together as one. In a Pilates class, you will find a variety of exercises during the class that incorporates these principles in different combination. And sometimes my students scratch their head and say, well, which one am I doing? And I ask them, what do you feel at the moment when you do the exercise? Get in touch with what you feel, because sometimes we surprise ourselves with what we feel when we pay attention, or you surprise me by saying, I feel this very different than you, Heike. So it is a great practice. But let's get into how we start Pilates at home. Now, Pilates has the reputation of being low impact and yet very powerful. And you definitely can get started at home with guidance, without fancy equipment, and get really great results. So what do you need? Get a good Pilates mat. A Pilates mat is not the same as a yoga mat. Pilates mats are larger and thicker and more dense, and they tend to have a little bit slippery surface other than the yoga mats that are thin and sticky. So you want something that's not thin and sticky. Now, I put links in the show notes so you can take a look at the mats that I would recommend and the equipment and see if that's for you. Then find a dedicated, well-ventilated area where you like to go and you have room to move. You don't need to start out with any Pilates equipment like the balls, the rings, or the bands that we often use in our home workout to create some of the larger Pilates equipment pieces like the reformer or the chair or the Cadillac to mimic the movements of those. You can simply start out with a good mat and a good space where you can exercise, but I put some links in the show notes so you can take a look at what a Pilates magic circle actually is. Then wear comfortable clothes that doesn't slide around your body, like a big t-shirt that ends up in your face when you bend down. So pick something that's a little tighter, stays on your body, breathes, but is comfortable. And as always, with any form of exercise, make sure you check with your doctor. I don't know you in person, and I don't know where you're starting, what your body issues may be, or what you need special care with. So definitely check with your doctor before you start anything new. So I am putting links of short video sequences in the show notes for you, so you can start practicing Pilates at home. And we're starting with the powerhouse and how to engage the powerhouse, or how to fire our glutes, as I call squeeze your buttski. And then you have a sequence of 8 essential exercises for beginners with modifications so you can start Pilates at home. And the link is in the show notes. So you click on that link and it will take you to those workouts. Then, of course, I often get questions of, what should I do? Hike it. So the first question always is, how often should I practice Pilates as a beginner? 3 times a week if you can. Do something in between the Pilates classes that you do at home, even though they may be short. You may go for a walk afterwards, but learn those exercises and the breathing first, and then go from there. But 3 times a week is plenty because, as I say, you can always do more, but you gotta do it well before you move on. Then, my joints hurt. Is Pilates the right thing for me? Absolutely. Remember, as I mentioned before, Pilates is low impact in nature and exercises can be modified. So when you think of an exercise like the 100, which will be in one of your videos, there's many ways how you can modify this and adapt it so that it fits your age, your weight, your physical ability, and your fitness level. The exercises are designed so you can modify them to all walks of life, levels, and abilities, so we can be safe, but also challenged in our exercises. One other question I get often is, when can I expect to see results? Well, that's a difficult question. The results depend on the goals you set for yourself. Do you want better posture, a stronger core, function better, breathe better? So all this takes time, and also the dedication you give the workout. Yeah, are you whooping it through to get it done? Or are you really doing your best to get into the right position, into the right breath? And keep practicing those videos because they will give you a solid start for your beginner Pilates practice at home. It'll take a while until you master those exercises. So take your time and enjoy, have fun with them. They're low impact and so very beneficial. And I teach Pilates to anybody that comes to me for whether it's nutrition coaching, strength training, Pilates, or a combination of those, because I feel that the mindfulness in Pilates can translate or transform your eating habits just like it can transform your body. And the Pilates mat exercises that I am sharing with you today for a beginner are super beneficial for all around wellness. But not to forget, check out my Spark Fitness membership where you can find other Pilates mat, Pilates on the ball, or Pilates fusion workouts. And I'm sure you'll find something that's right for you because I have anything from the beginner to the most advanced, from exercises from 5 minutes on to 25 minutes. So there's something for anybody. And always, the first 3 workouts are on me, so you can get started right away and get a taste of what they're like. But start out with the videos I'm sharing with you in this episode. So please share this post with your friends so they can find out how awesome Pilates is for women over 50. And so they also lean out, get stronger, breathe better, feel overall better, function better, and have great posture. I mean, I could go on and on about Pilates. Share with me on HeikeYates.com or on Facebook, HeikeYates.com. Heike Yates Pursue Your Spark, of course, and on Instagram, Heike Yates, how you like this episode. If you have any questions about the exercises, reach out to me and I'll be sure to get back to you. So thanks for being here with me today and enjoy Pilates. It was a game changer for my health. And I'll see you next time in the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao.